Hey everyone, welcome back to Fiscal Voyage. I'm Felix, and today's video we're going to talk about some pretty looking good Bitcoin price action. So first off, we're going back to always start with the Bitcoin long-term power law. If you're not familiar with this, it was created by Giovanni. This is Twitter account Giovanni here, and as well as BTC, and this is the website here, and a lot of good free charts they have here. But anyway, you can see here how Bitcoin respects this power law, which is basically how city grows, animals grows, plants, anything organic growth. It's kind of like what the power law is, planets, things like that. So Bitcoin is respecting this power law. And what we got here is, you can see here, the only time it kind of broke the power law was here, and the high of around 2013, December of 2013. You can see here I kind of broke the resistance here, and recently it broke the support here a few weeks ago or days ago. Right here you can see here it broke the support, but it bounced right back up. And if this continues, you know, as a strong support area, you can see here by the beginning of 2027, January, we have here around 71,000. So just if it stays at this area of the support, it just continues to go higher and higher and higher, even if it just stays here, right? But the mean, it was zoom out a little bit. The mean by 2027 is around 200 grand. So you can see here currently the fair price is 171. Support at 6,900, and the resistance, which is the high end at today's power law projection, is 600,000. So we have a 62% deviation from the fair price, which is the green line here. So that's basically buying Bitcoin at undervalued, and that looks real good. So now we're going to the chart here, and first off, this looks very promising. So if we go to the daily here, so we had this red bar here on Monday, July 13, and then we had this very nice strong green bar on July 14. But we do have this resistance of the daily 50, and like I mentioned in the previous video, you know, I expected to kind of get in that area and to consolidate or pull back a little, and then basically pull back a little bit. And then we had yesterday, we had this really nice July 17 on Friday, yesterday, we had this really nice bar here. It was a big red bar. It opened here, and this guy's down is here. And then we had a bottoming tail, and then now today it looks very strong. So that looks very, very promising. If we could get above this red bar and close above this resistance here, we look really, really good. Really, really good. And you can see here how it was the 21 moving average on the daily was resistance here. You can see there, and resistance here, you can see it there as well. And now that resistance was once resistant becomes support, and you can see support here on the 21, which is the yellow line. We got support here, and support here, and support here. So that looks very, very promising. You can see how it tried to break this moving average, but we did not get a close. That's when it breaks a moving average, when it closes above or below the moving average. You see here how the 21 moving average the bars didn't close above it, Here, it kind of closed, well, it broke it, but then we had a big sell-off there that day and leave a topping tail. And this is why it just, because the sellers were stronger. And since then, it broke the 13, and then now the 21 is becoming support. You see, support, 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 support. So now as long as we break this, now I expect a few green bars in the following 2 or 3 days to kind of break this area. Once we break this, we're looking very promising, and hopefully we get a weekly close on that resistance, right, which is here, this bar here. You know, most likely won't close above it this week. Here you have 1 day, 3 hours left. But hopefully next week we get a green bar, solid green bar, close above it. But then we have these resistance here on the 13 and 21 that coincide with this trend. So that's going to be very, very telling. So that's what I'm saying. So if Bitcoin can break this trend line, as well as this resistance on the weekly 21 and 13 EMA, and close above all that, I think at that point the bottom is in right here. This basically this week here on June 29th was the bottom. If we could get a weekly close above this trend line and this moving average on the weekly, the bottom is in. Now obviously we could break above and then come back down like this, but this will be basically like the low for this cycle. Another key thing I'm waiting for as well, this to turn green. Once this red bar gets over the yellow, this is gonna give a green, which are real good buy points, right? So I'm still buying regardless of this, but this is a good indicator for that it's basically the low for a while, because you can see here on April we had a few weeks of green, and then we go back. This one kind of reminds me of this time period here around 2014, I think it is, what I was looking at here. Let's see here, before the weekly 200 arrived. You can see here, so kind of like this. You see here, we had a green, so a few weeks like even, and then red because it went lower, but then a green here. So that's kind of like what we're at right now. We're waiting for that green. And you can see how the weekly 200 was kind of in that area right here. So that looks very promising. And that's kind of was the start of the low, even though we had like a weak bottoming tail here on the weekly in this thing, but this was the low, and it's just confirmation that we have now a higher low, right? And then we break the weekly 50 moving average, and then off to the races, right? So I'm waiting for this green to basically happen here. So we zoom in here, kind of this red line gets over the yellow, and then we're gonna provide us with a green dot. That's gonna look very, very promising on the weekly. Get over this trend line here. You can see the trend line and this resistance on the moving average, and then that would be basically July 29th or July 1st, June 29th. That week start with July 1st was the bottom for Bitcoin in this cycle. So that looks very, very promising. You can see here clearer here on the MACD here. That looks very promising. So I'm looking for that. But you can see here on the daily back again, that looks that bottoming tail with this bar here looks very, very promising, that we're gonna go higher and possibly break 65 and get up to this zone here, this resistance around 67, and hopefully we get a weekly close above this resistance. And that's kind of like what I'm looking for. Again, on the monthly, we have great support here on the 50 monthly average. Like that line is that resistance that we need to break and get a good close on the weekly here to really say this trend line is broken, and that could possibly be the low for the while. Because by that time, if Bitcoin does break this and close on the weekly, what I mentioned before, October will be here, because a lot of people believe on that 4-year cycle where October is going to be the low, and that's when people will start buying. So hopefully it will get us to October and doesn't create a new low, and people just start buying, and game over. We're going to go to all-time highs and get to 200 grand. That's kind of like my expectation. So hopefully let's see what happens. But like I said, recently the price action these past few days has been very nice. I thought when this red bar happened, it was going to take us lower, break this resistance on this this red line here, and head back lower, but it didn't. We had a nice green bar a few days of consolidation, little pullback, and a nice green bottoming tail. So that looks very promising to go higher. So we'll see how Bitcoin handles this resistance here in the next few days. So thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you study Bitcoin. Very important to study Bitcoin. Learn about Bitcoin. Learn why Bitcoin even exists, why cryptocurrency exists, especially Bitcoin, and you understand why other people are buying it, why I'm buying it. It's the only thing on earth that is scarce. Everything else is abundance. And there's no corporation behind it. There's no one behind it. There's no one who could go in jail behind it. There's nothing. This is pure, perfect, really, in my opinion. So make sure you study Bitcoin, and thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one.